Earlier this week, I stumbled on an XRP headline that jolted me awake. It claimed that over $15.5 trillion could soon flow through the XRP ledger. Yeah, 15 trillion. Now, at first, I thought it had to be a bit of a typo or just some kind of hype-driven hopium. But if you're holding XRP like me, you're probably going to want to hear this, because it involves a secret weapon in XRP's arsenal that most of us actually never really knew that we had. I mean, I almost brushed it off, but something about that number, $15.5 trillion, it stuck in my brain. That's like the economic output of a superpower country just flowing through a crypto network. So I dug in, and what I found, it made me do a bit of a double take. As XRP analyst Brad Kimms, he was on X, calling the XRP ledger's built-in decentralized exchange, the DEX, its secret weapon. And I was like, why? Because, well, Ripple, right, the company that's behind a lot of XRP's adoption efforts, is actually bringing in two heavyweights, Hidden Road and GTreasury. Now, Hidden Road handles about $3 trillion a year, and GTreasury moves roughly $12.5 trillion annually. Now, if you add all that up, you get the $15.5 trillion figure. Now, that's the scale of financial activity that could start touching the XRP ledger soon. Now, does that mean XRP's price is about to blast off? Not so fast. It's not like $15 trillion worth of XRP is being bought up overnight. A lot of that volume might be things like currencies or IOUs moving through the ledger rather than direct XRP trades. But the mere fact that institutions trust the XRP ledger, the XRPL, however we want to articulate that these days, to handle that kind of volume is a huge deal in and of itself. Now, Kim said that this could be a crucial moment, happening right as the crypto industry pushes for a new market structure bill that could pass, and phase into action in 2026. Now, in other words, the timing might be perfect here. Real utility ramping up as regulations, hopefully, get sorted out. It's kind of like everything is lining up. Big infrastructure meets regulatory green lights. Still, I was a bit skeptical. I've been around the block with XRP, right? We've seen some pretty wild predictions come and go. So I kept on digging in. And that's when I came across a resurfaced video of Monica Long, Ripple's president. Now, in that clip, Monica basically reminded everyone of something that many had forgotten. She reiterated that Ripple believes in a multi-chain world. Now, there isn't going to be a one blockchain to rule them all. Now, different tokens and networks will serve very different purposes. But she emphasized, XRP will always have a key role as the native asset of the XRP ledger, used for things like gas fees and reserve requirements on accounts. And as the network usage grows, with developers and institutions building upon it, demand for XRP naturally increases. Then, Monica dropped the real gem. The XRP ledger has a decentralized exchange, a DEX, that's built into it from very much the day one. Now, you've got to think about that. Since 2012, before even DeFi was even a buzzword, the XRP ledger has had an exchange built in. And this isn't some kind of tacked on feature. It's actually deeply woven into how the ledger works. Now, if you want to trade one asset for another on the XRP ledger, and there is no direct market for that pair, well, the decentralized exchange will automatically route the trade through XRP to bridge the gap. They call this auto bridging. Now, in plain English, XRP is like the universal translator, a UN meeting, if you will. If two people do not understand each other, XRP steps in as the common language. You trade an asset A for XRP, then XRP for asset B. Now, in one very seamless step, all under the hood, no one coordinating it manually. It's just how the XRP ledger operates. Now, that kind of blew my mind. It's as if the XRP ledger has had a Ferrari engine under the hood, and only now people are starting to notice. Now, while the crypto world was obsessing over new decentralized finance platforms and DEXs on other unknown chains, XRP's ledger quietly held the title of the world's first built-in decentralized exchange, running continuously for over a decade. And it's fast. Trades settle in seconds with tiny fees, just like normal XRP transactions. Few outside the XRP community ever actually talk about this, and Monica Long even said this auto-bridging DEX feature is where XRP becomes a true bridge asset, independent of Ripple's own products. In other words, even if Ripple, the company, didn't push XRP for cross-border payments, this core feature gives XRP a life of its own as a bridge currency for any token that lives on the ledger. That's a unique advantage of the XRP ledger's design. So here is the picture that is coming together. Ripple, the company, has been making moves to integrate big financial players into this XRP ledger ecosystem. Earlier this year, Ripple confirmed that Hidden Road's entire post-trade infrastructure is migrating onto the XRP ledger. Hidden Road, if you haven't already heard of it, is a major prime broker. Basically, it's a huge pipeline for financial transactions, a $3 trillion a year that I mentioned. Now, then you've got GTreasury, a company that's been a staple in corporate finance for decades. Ripple is leveraging GTreasury as an entry into the $120 trillion corporate treasury world. And yes, that was trillion with a T. That is the total market that they could tap. Not all of that will of course run through the XRP ledger, but still, it's big. GTreasury connecting with XRPL, it could mean that big corporations using the ledger for moving funds or managing liquidity. Now, obviously, not all of that $15.5 trillion from Hidden Road and GTreasury will translate into XRP being used. A lot could be stablecoins or tokenized fiat, for instance, RLUSD, a tokenized dollar. It might just move around for settlements, right? But here is why it still matters. Any activity on the XRP ledger requires some XRP. Now, to have an account on XRP's ledger, you do have to have a small XRP reserve to pay for fees, and you need a little bit of XRP for that. So, increased network activity equals increased baseline demand for XRP, even if XRP in itself isn't the thing that's being traded. Now, Monica Long explicitly noted that as the XRP ledger usage grows, XRP's demand also grows. Plus, if the decentralized exchange is auto-bridging trades, XRP is being used in the middle, even if users do not even realize it. So, by this point, I'm sitting here as an XRP holder feeling a mix of excitement and a bit of caution. It's a very exciting time because this is the kind of real adoption that we've all been craving, right? But we do need to be cautious because I know how the crypto space works. Big promises sometimes completely fizzle out, and nothing is ever guaranteed. We've seen XRP's price spike on hype and then settle down when reality hits. So, is this time different? It could well be, because it's not just talk here, it's actually happening behind the scenes. Hidden Road's integration is in progress. GTreasury is on board in concept. Ripple is actively expanding XRP's role in various and very serious ways. And even beyond what Ripple is doing, more and more projects are building on XRP's ledger, or connecting to it at least, which means XRP's advantage of low fees and fast settlements is attracting even more attention. Now, before I go any further, especially as I start talking about what this could mean for the future, let me slip in a very quick but very important disclaimer. And it might just shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile, and you could lose all of the money that you invest. You should always do your own research and consult a qualified professional. After all, your investments are entirely your responsibility, and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses, and this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Alright, so I'm glad that we got that out of the way. I know it was a bit of a mouthful, but sometimes I do need to say whenever we get a little bit into these bigger topics and get a bit too excited, because as excited as I am, I've got to stay rational and we've all got to stay safe out in the crypto world. So what's next? If Hidden Road and GTreasury start pushing volume through the XRP ledger, how does that reflect on XRP's value? Well, here is my take. It's not like a switch that flips and suddenly XRP is $10 or $100, but it is laying some groundwork. It's kind of like building highways before the cars actually come, right? You build the infrastructure first, the traffic, and the value flows gradually. Now, in late 2024, we actually saw a hint of this. XRP's ledger's DEX activity actually started picking up. There was a point where the XRP ledger's DEX had done over $1 billion in total swaps and was averaging about $17+ million a day in trading volume. Now, it wasn't front page news on Cointelegraph or anything like that, but it did show that the DEX isn't just a dormant relic. It's actually functional and people are indeed using it. And that was before these huge institutional pipelines even came into play. To me, the really exciting thing is less about a one-time volume boost and more about XRP's narrative that is shifting. For years, the community's rallying cry was all about banks using XRP via Ripple's ODL, now Ripple Net, to send money across the borders rather cheaply, right? But that's still a thing, of course. Ripple Payments product do in fact use XRP and even stablecoins in tandem for efficiency. But what we're seeing now is a much bigger picture. XRP becoming a part of the underlying plumbing of global finance. It's not just about one singular use case, remittances. It's actually about XRP and the XRP ledger being versatile, enough, I guess, to actually settle trades, provide liquidity through decentralized exchanges, and integrate with corporate systems. It's like XRP is graduating from a specialist role to a multi-talented utility player. This whole idea of bridging gaps, right? Whether it's between currencies or between old finance and new technology, it has me thinking of other innovations that are happening in the crypto space beyond just XRP. Now, long-time viewers will know that I have been talking a lot about Unity nodes recently. It's a little bit of a tangent here, but hear me out because it's all part of this particular theme of connecting worlds. Because Unity Nodes is a project that's been collaborated together by World Mobile Network and Minutes Network. Now, in a nutshell, what they're doing here is they're turning regular smartphones into nodes that help verify the telecoms networks. Essentially, ordinary people like us can run a little mini mobile network node on their phone. And in return, you can earn some cryptocurrency for it. Not some random new token either. Some mainstream tokens like XRP can be earned through the Unity network. How cool is that? You see, I did actually jump into the Unity node train or onto the Unity node train myself. I purchased what they call a Unity node master license, which basically, here's a fun fact, it comes with 200 individual operator licenses. Now, they technically issued these things as NFTs, but you've got to think of them more as software licenses to run nodes, if you will, on your smartphone. It's not about a collectible art piece or anything crazy like that. Now, what does that really mean? And it means that I could, in theory, connect up to 200 smartphones under my node umbrella in this decentralized telecoms network. Now, I'm not going to deploy 200 phones right off of the bat. I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. I'm starting off small to test 10 phones to see how it all works in practice, at least in the real world. And if it goes smoothly and the rewards are as advertised on their website, well, I'm going to scale it up from there. Now, here is where it ties into our XRP story, because the Unity node reward system lets me earn multiple different cryptocurrencies, and you bet that I set my preference to be paid in some of my favorites. That includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano's ADA, and yes, XRP. So while I'm holding XRP waiting for these big developments to play out, I'm also passively stacking a little more XRP on the side through this completely different project. And most recently, Unity has partnered up with Polkadot to offer DOT as a payout option, and most recently also a collaboration with Shiba Inu to offer SHIB as a payment option and also as an earning option. By the way, I forget to mention that Unity Master NFT or Master Node license that I purchased, you can actually purchase it with XRP tokens as well. Anyway, It's kind of like earning interest, but instead of a bank, it's actually from helping improve phone networks. It sounds pretty wild, I know. It's just one more example of how crypto is creeping into all kinds of different industries. Right, we've talked about finance with XRP, but Unity is tackling the telecommunications sector, and more specifically, the issues that the telecommunications industry is having, which is a $2 trillion a year problem. Now, if you haven't heard of me talking about Unity nodes before, don't worry, the concept is relatively new, but I have mentioned it in plenty of the past videos, so some of you guys probably already know what's going on here and are probably already in the loop. Now, if you are new to this and it does pique your interest, I'm going to put a link in the description down below to Unity's light paper and their rewards calculator so you can do all your own research, as always, because it's not the main focus of today's video, but it is something that I'm pretty excited about. I mean, the idea of turning a unused phone, and turning that into a crypto earning opportunity, well, I'm kind of in for that. I like that idea. The way that you can make global telecommunications more efficient, well, that kind of resonates with me in solving a real world problem, right? A $2 trillion a year real world problem. That's the poor connectivity and the call quality issues. And you're incentivizing people to actually help improve it. Kind of how XRP is solving slow international payments or liquidity issues with a crypto-powered solution. See a pattern here, right? In both cases, crypto isn't just about prices on a chart, it's about utility. Anyway, I wanted to share that Unity story at least to illustrate how many innovation streams are actually happening all at once. Crypto is not a zero-sum game in that kind of sense of utility. Multiple projects can thrive if they're addressing very different needs. XRP's need is liquidity and bridging the finance. Unity's is about decentralized telecoms industry. Both can coexist and even complement each other in the broader ecosystem of crypto adoption. And hey, if Unity works out, maybe I'll do a dedicated update on how these 10 phones are doing and whether I will scale up to 50 or even 100 phones down the line. Let me know in the comments if you would be interested in that. All right, let's get back to XRP and the $15.5 trillion question. Here's my bottom line. I'm more convinced than ever that XRP's real value will come from utilization, not from speculation or hype. The actual usage matters, and the XRP ledger's design is proving capable of handling serious workloads. We're talking institutional-grade action here. Now, that makes me optimistic, because if XRP can survive the last 10 years with all of the drama, the lawsuits, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, the FUD, and still end up at the center of a possible financial transformation, then that's at least what's a few more years of waiting for a big payoff. At least in my opinion, I don't mind waiting for that. But I also want to temper all expectations. Some people hear $15 trillion and they think that XRP's price will rocket to the moon next week. Now, I am not saying that. In fact, even analysts are modeling different scenarios and cautioning that not all that volume will directly pump into XRP. What I am saying here is that XRP's fundamentals are getting a serious boost. The more ingrained the XRP ledger becomes in the financial plumbing, the harder it is to ignore or dismiss XRP, the token. Now, it's more like being the oil that lubricates a giant machine. The machine can run without it for a while, for sure, but not efficiently and not at scale. XRP is positioning itself as that lubricant in global finance, thanks to this secret weapon, the DEX, the decentralized exchange, and Ripple's efforts in the background. Now, for us as investors or potential investors, what are some of the actionable takeaways here? Well, first, you've got to stay informed and you've got to be patient. Developments like these, they take time to play on out. There may not be an immediate price reaction here, and that's okay too. I would rather see slow, steady growth backed by real adoption than a sudden spike that can't hold. Second, security and strategy. Now, if you're bullish on the long term, as least as I am, then you're going to want to make sure that you're storing your XRP safely and that you've got a game plan for the next bullish cycle. And on that note, I want to quickly share a great opportunity that I've lined up for you guys in case you're looking to both accumulate more XRP and diversify your exchange options. I have partnered up with Kraken, the cryptocurrency exchange, for a limited time promotion. Basically, if you sign up using my special link that's in the description down below, and you make a trade totaling at least $100 worth of any cryptocurrency excluding stablecoins within 30 days of signing up, Kraken will credit you with $25 worth of XRP. That's free XRP, essentially as a welcome bonus. It's a pretty sweet deal. I mean, who doesn't love getting some extra XRP for doing what you might have done anyway? Now, I'm highlighting this for a couple of different reasons. For one, it's literally free XRP that's on the table. But also, I always preach about having multiple different exchange accounts as part of your strategy. You never know when one exchange might halt signups or go down during a peak volatility moment, or heavens forbid, completely go bankrupt like FTX. Now, I treat exchanges like tools. I want a plan A, I want a plan B, and a plan C. So Kraken is one of those at least one of the most reputable exchanges out there that I have used. And this promotion is just a nice little nudge if you haven't set one up, or at least an account up there already. Here's full disclosure though, right? The link that's in the description down below, and if you do use it, it actually supports the channel here at no extra cost to yourself. That's what we call an affiliate link. So I'd like to say a big thank you in advance if you do go ahead and sign up using that link. Now, of course, this particular promotion by Kraken is only through that link in the description down below, and also on our website if you head over there. Now, all the details and the fine print for the promotion that Kraken is offering is also in the description down below. It's important that you do read those terms and conditions because not every jurisdiction around the world is going to be eligible for this promotion. And on that note, it's probably worth noting that this is something that Kraken has put forward to you guys. It's not affiliated with YouTube, and it's definitely not affiliated with Cheeky Crypto in any other way. Anyway, just wanted to put it out there because I see this as a great way to stack a little bit more XRP. And if you were going to make some trades anyway, you might as well snag a little bit of a bonus, right? And hey, stacking a bit more XRP now could be a clever move if you believe in where all of this is heading. Now, while we're on the topic of stacking and learning, let me remind you about our free educational Discord. Right? If you're not in there yet, consider this your invitation. It's completely free, and it's where our community gathers to discuss news just like this, ask questions, share insights, and help each other out. Now, crypto can feel a bit overwhelming or lonely at times, but I promise you this. It's a lot better when you have a tribe of like-minded people that are around you. The Discord link is in the description below, right? We have sections for beginners, advanced traders, for different crypto projects, you name it. Now, I'm in there quite a lot. Our moderators and experienced members are super helpful too. And it's just a great place to continue this conversation from these videos. So hop in if you haven't done so already. But maybe the Discord isn't for you. Maybe you prefer structured education. Well, for that, we do run a school called Cheeky School, right? It's actually over at cheekyschool.com. Now, this is more for people who want that structured learning approach. Maybe you want to up your trading game, or you want to learn about portfolio management, or maybe how to handle risk management, which, by the way, is huge when it comes to these volatile markets. Now, we've got courses on all of these topics and more. And just for our YouTube viewers, there's a discount code that's in the description that will get you 50% off any course. So if you're serious about leveling up your skills and knowledge, take advantage of that if you want to. Education is one of the best investments that you can make in this space, in my opinion. It pays dividends in the mistakes that you just won't make later. Whether you use my school or plenty of other resources that are out there, just be sure that you're continuously learning. All right, let's bring this home. $15.5 trillion potentially flowing through the XRP ledger, a decentralized exchange that's been hiding in plain sight for over a decade. Big institutional players are now knocking on the door. This is the kind of story that gets me out of bed in the morning as a crypto content creator and as an investor. It's the perfect mix of, I can't believe that this isn't bigger news, and I can totally see why they're doing this. See, XRP's speed and scalability has always been great, but now its underlying design, that secret sauce from 2020, is stepping into the spotlight. If you ask me, the next 6 to 12 months will be very telling. We'll see how the Hidden Road integration plays out. We'll see if GTreasury's clients start dipping their toes into the XRP ledger, and we'll likely see Ripple continue to push XRP into the new use cases, right? And yes, we might also see increased regulatory clarity by 2026, which could open the floodgates even further. Now, I cannot promise you prices or make you any guarantees. No one can. But what I can say is I feel more confident holding XRP now than I have done in a long time, knowing that this kind of adoption is on the horizon. As always, I will keep you updated every step of the way. If something big happens, good or bad, you're going to hear it from me and my honest takes with it. I'm not here to spread hopium or doom. I'm here to navigate the truth in an entertaining and hopefully enlightening way. Anyway, thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive today. If you have found value in this video, then you can do me a favor by hitting that like button and that subscribe button. It's one small click for you guys, but it truly helps the channel and ensures that you won't miss any future updates on XRP or any other crypto projects. We've got a lot to look forward to, and I would love to have you all along for the ride. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.